Hello, hi YouTube. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Khadijah and I'm so excited to get into this girl chat today. So let's jump right into it. So much to talk about, so much to catch up on. It is girls' night in. We're in the house on this Saturday night because we inside all 2024. Okay, that's all I have to say. I am in my cozy vibe, no makeup on because I don't have a FaceTime date tonight, you know what I mean? If you saw the last one, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm in my cozy, comfy, oversized hoodie. I like love this. My parents like gave it to me like 1 year for Christmas randomly and I was like, okay, this is the greatest invention ever. So here we are. And it's actually freezing in my house. Like when I tell you, I turned my heat up to like 74 and it still wasn't getting warm. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it down. Like, okay. And then I just threw this on and I was like, oh my God, I have a huge freaking hoodie in my closet. But I just drank half a cup of coffee. So like, that's just my vibe right now. I have something to do later and I was like, all right, I need to drink some coffee so I can like wake up. Hello, beautiful rays of sunshine. Welcome back, babe. I am feeling so good. Last week, what happened this entire week? Actually, let me just get to the nitty gritty. This week was a lot for me. Like, you guys, I experienced so many stomach pains and like cramping and everything. I feel like I was down bad the first week of January. Luckily, like I wasn't in a terrible mood. I just felt really like and yeah, I'm like, okay, Mother Nature, you just want to come in my life and just do like you want to knock me out. That's fine. You can't win. So I don't know, I was like eating like eggs. Like I usually, let me just backtrack. Story time. Okay, quick story time. So I grocery shop at Trader Joe's, right? And I bought like eggs, I bought like chicken sausage, I just bought all this like stuff. Like I'll try to eat like a big breakfast and all these things, right? So one day I'm like making food and I'm eating it and I'm like, oh, like this is so yummy, oh my God. Literally 10 minutes later, like my stomach is in knots. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Every single day I continue to eat the eggs. I'm like, okay, like what's going on? I'm thinking it's like the chicken sausage. I'm like, okay, maybe it's the sourdough bread. Like I was just like talking to my friends and they're like saying, okay, it could possibly be this, it could possibly be this. So then sometime this week, mind you, like the stomach pains were like, they were still going on, but then they would like subside. Like if I would like chill out on like eating as much, but other foods were like making my stomach feel inflamed as well. And I was like, what is going on with me? And you guys, I feel like it was maybe like food poisoning or something from the eggs I was eating. So I don't know though. I feel like I was dealing with a small touch of like food poisoning. So there was that. And then on top of that, my Mother Nature decided to bless me this week. Not pregnant, B-teen pregnancy, but I was like, hello? So she just storms into my life and I'm dealing with that. So even yesterday was just, oh my God, it was just such a mad show. Like I was just like, okay, this is actually ridiculous. So yeah, I've just been feeling all types of icky things. So there's that. But I survived and still remained positive attitude. A lot of positives that happened this week. What is a positive that happened this week? I bought like a whiteboard, and this may sound like small or like a minuscule thing, but for me this is a very big deal. I feel like whiteboards help you just see your goals every single day and help you like just tackle them and just hold you accountable. I feel like a whiteboard hanging up on a wall is like an accountability partner, and I bought one. And I feel like that is a very big peak of my week. Like I am so excited to write everything down, which I already have done. Like that's what I was doing like the past like day was just like writing stuff down that I want, and writing down like what my week is gonna look like, and just writing like my goals for the year and like my big 3, and just so much more. And I really just started to take the time today to just kind of craft what is important to me in 2024. And I'm so excited about this because earlier when I was going on like a walk, I was listening to the Skinny Confidential podcast. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's a podcast with Lauren and Michael Bostic, and they run this business and they own like a media studio, and they just own all this stuff, and it's just super cool, and they are just, in my opinion, intelligent. And Lauren was speaking about how she writes down like her big 3, and she has like a think day every single year, and that is something that I want to touch on because I was thinking about my big 3 the other day, and I was like, okay, so like what is my big 3? And pretty much she says how you find your big 3 is by writing an entire list of things that you want to accomplish this year, things that are big goals for you. So you write down like 20 things. Personally, I couldn't think of 20 things. Maybe if I truly sat for even longer I could have, but I only thought of like, I think it was like 10 or 11. And out of that 10 or 11, like there was just like a common topic, and I was like, okay, for sure this is one of my big 3, clearly, right? Another thing was more evident. I was like, okay, this is another one of my big 3. Another one was just something that I feel like has to be done, and then that was like my other big 3, and I was really able to write it out and determine it. And I really want to encourage you girls to do that as well, because it was actually really nice to be like, okay, so what's going to be important to me this year? I know a lot of people, they say like, okay, you write your goals down and you like, maybe you write a bunch of different things, but I think what's special about a big 3 is that you can focus on having 3 things that you're pushing at, and it doesn't necessarily have to all be surrounding your career, is what she was explaining. It doesn't have to be all around like, you know, like monetarily, because I feel like sometimes when people think about their big 3 or maybe their goals, they think it has to be like physical goals, or you know, but it can be anything. You could want to grow a relationship with God, you could want to be, like she said, a great mom, you could want to be a better friend, like all of these things. And then when you have your think day, like trickling into that, and this isn't exactly like a quote from her, but I'm just kind of expressing like how I interpreted it more so, because I don't know if you guys have watched it yet. When you have your think day, you can go in to be like, okay, these are my big 3. Okay, how am I going to make this one idea come to life? Okay, how am I going to make this idea come to life? And you really start to go into the topic, and then you write subtopics to what falls into that, and different systems that you're going to do to set yourself up for that. And I just think it's super cool because it is very important to not only just hold yourself accountable, but to know how you work and how you operate, and to be very vigilant and aware and have it in plain sight of, this is how I want to be truly this year, and this is how I want to show up. And I'm just one of those people, I just want to tackle my goals. Like I just want to really be able to see them and feel like I have made a true change and a true impact. And I say that because I think in the past years that I have written resolutions or done vision boards or done like little cutesy stuff, like it's nice, and while that may work for some people, I feel like it doesn't necessarily work for me, and I don't really operate from a place of creating or manifesting or working in that way. For me, I have to understand a plan of action more so, and I have to have a checklist of things that I'm doing on a day-to-day. How I operate is like, if I have a task and I know it's given, I'm like, okay, we have to knock out this task. Like we can't move on to this like this one task or the next thing until this is done. So for me, having a daily to-do list, I know I would do great with that. It's like, okay, like I'm gonna write down 3 things that I want to get done today, and if I don't accomplish one of those 3 things, that's okay, because there's always tomorrow, but at least I know I knocked out the first 2. So for me, writing things down has always been how I do best. And now that I have my new whiteboard that I'm once again so excited about, it's just like I pretty much like wrote it out to where I see my whole week at a glance, and I have on what is going to happen that day. So say I'm meeting a friend, I write that I write that on my whiteboard as well. Say I am going to edit a YouTube short, I'm going to write that in there as well. Or I'm going to film a short on a previous day, I'm going to write that in, like just and so forth and so on. And I like it because it's not so restrictive to where it's like, okay, like I can only do this and this from these hours, because I am still like learning how to set up my structured day. But for me, biting the bullet and doing like the most important things first is where I feel like works best for me. Or, excuse me, in spaces where like I know that I have time, or I can just be more conscious about my time. Say I catch myself scrolling and I'm like, oh my gosh, like snap out of it. Let's look on your list and let's see what you have to do for today. So far we haven't tested it out yet, but I can update you guys as the weeks go on and let you know how it's going. So I'm really excited to dive into that. I think that it's just gonna be awesome, because I think organization and structure is the truly only way I am going to propel forward this year. So there's that. Also, I got my nails done white. I literally, you guys, I love them. Hear me out. Obviously they're only white, but they're not only white though. Like this color, this length, are you kidding me? Like I'm obsessed. You guys, my nails were like literally 3 times longer than this. Like this isn't even long, like you can't even see them. My nails were like here, my natural nails. And I had to cut them down because 2 of them broke. My pointer finger broke when I had dip, and then my thumb broke. But also because I just feel like I don't want like long fingernails, and I think they just really got in my way. And I honestly haven't been a long nail girl in forever, but I went to a new salon and I was like, oh my god, I am absolutely freaking obsessed. I went to this salon called Cured in East Nashville, and they specialize in like gel, and they also have like vegan nail polishes, and it was just like so pretty, and like the layout was like open concept, and it was just gorgeous. I was like, okay, this is the vibe. They had like the plants and like the vintage like mirrors and just like all the cutest stuff. I actually made a TikTok and YouTube short about it if you guys want to check that out. So yeah, I guess I'm just feeling like brand new. Like I got a new salon, like a new nail salon. I got a new hair salon, and drum roll, I guess it's not really a drum roll, but I'm signing up for Pilates, which I'm so freaking hype about. I literally was like, oh my gosh, okay, so I need to do Pilates. Like I just feel like it's gonna transform my life. And if you know me, you know I've been wanting to talk about like doing Pilates for so long, and I was like, how can I do Pilates and have a gym membership and do all these things and whatever, right? And then my friends, like, they're like, class pass, like, get class pass. I'm like, what is class pass? Okay, like, I don't even understand. And class pass is basically like this app that you can get to purchase credits, or you purchase like a large sum of credits for the month, and it gets you into different classes locally, or it can get you into gyms. And what are the chances that my gym and Pilates studios that I want to go to are all on ClassPass? I'm like, this is so freaking perfect. I'm so excited to be able to do weightlifting and Pilates. Like that is like, I feel like just my dream. Because for me, I'm just the type of person, like I need to stay active on a day-to-day basis. Like today, I did an at-home Pilates workout with Pilates Body by Raven, and it was really good. She did like a live stream, which she's been doing, I think like a series on her channel, and I did that with her, and I was just like, I love this. Like I just felt so good. I felt so good doing it today, and it just had me feeling like, okay, like it just inspired me to just do more essentially. So that was pretty nice. So this year I decided to take a step back from like dating and really like focus on myself and hone in on my goals and my responsibilities, because I am 25. Oh my god, I'm 25. Like, I think that is just such a big year, and while there's so much that I have like learned thus far, I feel like there's so much more that I can do this year to, if I really go hard. Not even if, excuse my language. When I go hard this year, just know like it's just gonna be such a beautiful thing. And I feel like when you hit a certain age that is like a big deal, like a milestone in your life, you have to go hard for yourself, because nobody is going to be like, babe, you're 25 now, like now's the time to really go after your dreams, or to really be passionate, or to really wake up and go to the gym. Like, nobody's gonna hold your hand and do that. And luckily for me and for you guys, we can hold each other accountable, and we can be like, sis, yeah, what are you doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing the next day? Because there's just so much that I know I'm going to accomplish this year, and just the idea of not being complacent like makes me want to go hard. I don't want to be complacent this year. I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be like, okay, what the F is going on? How can you maximize yourself, you know? And while I do feel like I have been going through a lot of changes, and I will continue to go through a lot of changes this year, one thing I don't want to do is not produce. I feel like for me, I am naturally the type of person, I want to be creating something. Like, I want to always be like, have my hands in something, whether I am helping someone else, whether I'm helping myself, just in so many different aspects. And I do feel like at a certain point of the year, I did reach a point where I was like, okay, like I am helping a lot of people, but I'm not necessarily helping myself. And I wish I could really pinpoint what day it was like that I was like, whoa, like you need to be posting more, you need to go hard. But I feel like I just kind of fell into that rhythm recently, and maybe it was like Vlogmas that really did it. It kind of really launched me forward, and I was like, okay, like I can create, like if I'm not gonna post every day, I can post every day, like every day, then I can post every other day. And that just really had me like, okay, like getting into that like creating spirit. And I was having a conversation with Gabby. You guys should know Gabby, my best friend, my roommate. We were just talking about like when you stop creating, it does like slow down your flow. And when you do create, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to try to sit down and create the most brilliant, most brightest idea ever. You creating is just an act, and even if you're not in love with it, putting it out there is still going to be something that can spark another idea, and it can have you in that motion and just in that habit. And that is something that I did appreciate in that conversation, because for me, when I edit certain things or when I'm creating certain things, I'm like, I am not necessarily in love with this. I don't feel like I'm going to be in love with every single thing that I put out into the world. And there are certain things that I put out that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of this. And not to say that you should just allow your work to just be however, but the real root of creating is not being perfect. And if it's your art, then it is your art. And I feel like when I sit here and I think of different things to put on social media, whether I'm influenced by someone else to post it, or it's something that's in my heart that I care to share or whatever, I think that it's still that much special, because I'm putting my input into the world, and it's for whoever else to consume. And honestly, for me, especially like on YouTube and social media, because this is my format of creating in my life right now, I feel like when I do post these videos, it's not about like the big recognition. I think it's more so the small attributes. I feel like that really keeps me going when one of my friends or someone, anybody will be like, wow, like this moment impacted me, or this small thing. I'm like, I am so touched. Like I literally feel it in my heart. It just warms my heart. And I think that has been my most recent inspiration for creating, is just helping other women. And I love the aspect of like being vulnerable. Something about like being vulnerable, especially in an online space that feels safe, is just so precious. And for me, YouTube is such a safe space. I have spent so many years, I mean, I don't even know how many years, gosh, I started watching YouTube when I was like 11. I mean, probably before that, but truly, like, I remember being 11 years old and I was like, oh my gosh, like this YouTuber and that YouTuber. So yeah, I'm fulfilling my childhood dreams right now, and it's like, you guys are my audience, and I'm so grateful to have you here. I have just been in a space where I'm like, I want to change, like, and I don't know what to do, but I feel like I want to like dye my hair. So recently my little sister, she dyed her hair red, and it's like the cutest, like literally prettiest shade of red on her. And I'm like, I feel like you inspired me. And so one of my friends, she has red hair, right? And like it looks amazing on her. It's like a different shade of red than my sister's. Like my sister's is more of like, I feel like a deeper red. And me and my sister, we have the same hair color. It's like a sandy brown. And she dyed it this week, and I was like, girl, like you kind of ate. Like she's 17, and it's so funny because I'm like, do I want to be like you and dye my hair red? I don't know. Like she just kind of like had me thinking I could. But also I said I wasn't gonna dye my hair this year. I've never, first of all, I've never dyed my hair another color than like black or brown. And right now it's like at that in-between color. But now I'm like, hold on, because there's no way, like you really, like you did that. And yeah, so now I'm just like, should I dye my hair? But that's just so like not like me. Like I'm not the type of person to like, I mean, I'm saying it's not like me, but then I'm like, oh, like I want to pop. Oh, I don't know, because also I've been saying I want healthy hair. I just need to decide. I feel like I would rather have healthy hair. I feel like healthy hair, well, at the end of the day, her hair is still healthy, but I feel like for me, I just don't want to dye my hair because I do want to get it to that natural shade, and it's not even completely like my natural shade right now. So I'm like, okay, maybe just chill, like stop being influenced by people. But sometimes it's kind of hard because like y'all be influencing me. Like y'all post one thing and I'm like, where is that? Between the Christmas blues that I was experiencing and now, something about this like gap has had me feeling very like launching me forward. I don't want to speak too like eagerly and say that I'm like super just like excited about something, because truth be told, I don't really have anything that's like super exciting in my world, but I do feel a shift in the energy and in my mindset, and I can definitely tell that I'm getting older. Like I think when I was like 19, 20, God, Lord, oh Lord, I don't know, I just feel like I think I was a little wild child. Like I definitely had my like drinking vibe when I was like 21, okay, like drinking, partying. I had my college era when I was just a party girl, drinking throughout the week, doing this, that, left and right. I would call out of work when I felt like it, like just being, in my opinion, really irresponsible, where now I'm just so opposite from that. And I'm so grateful that I like made that shift. And it's just crazy to think that I am just so not my old self, but it's so good. It's so freaking good. Like I want to say, if you're looking for like a change or just a different rhythm or something, like just move, guys. Like I feel like that is like the only advice I have, is to like move. Like when I just tucked myself away and just hid for however long, it really propelled me forward in like a good direction. But I'm now trying to decide like how I feel about like second chances. This is kind of random. This is like just like another topic. I am in a space where I am like working on being more gracious and trying to decide if second chances are a thing for me, because I feel like in certain aspects I definitely give second chances for sure, and I think I'm just now at that point where I am trying to understand if certain people are worth like being in my life again, or if I am just being like naive and hopeful. Naturally, I am the type of person to be very understanding and forgiving, and I get that. I know who I get that from. I get that from my dad. My dad is very forgiving and very understanding, and he's just like that. Like he just continues to give people chances, and I am trying to decide if that is who I'd like to be at 25. I feel like there's a lot of life lessons that I learned previously to 25. A lot regarding friendships, relationships, street like knowledge, like not like the streets, but like, you know, like street smarts. And I'm just like, geez Louise, Khadijah, like what do you believe in? And yeah, like I think winter has been great for me because I have been unlearning so much. Like I can't stress enough how much I have been unlearning. Like it took me getting a therapist, okay? Like I had a therapist all spring and summer of 2023, and then I got a trainer, so that's like my season that I'm in right now. I even have been considering getting a nutritionist recently. Like I'm just so like, okay, somebody teach me something. Like I need to be taught new skills, and it has been, oh my god, it's been so good. So I guess next is next is just my time to figure out what I really just like stand for, and like developing my core values. But I think that this year I'd like to spend more time alone, and I don't know if I've touched on this topic before, but I feel like spending more time alone is how my core beliefs really will start to form. And it's just been nice to be in the house, and I haven't I would say in 2023 I spent a lot of time with people, and I spent a lot of time being, you know, under people and just being around, just being in the mix. And while that was so fun, and like I'm so appreciative, I feel like I met amazing people, like truly created lifelong friendships, which I'm so blessed for. I feel like now is my time to be more to myself and help myself and assist myself. I spent a lot of 2023 serving other people in my life, which is something I really wanted to do. It's something that I feel like I talked about it earlier, but I am passionate about helping other people. But I want to stress that it is so important to help yourself first and then help others. And just in terms of like creating a brand for myself and just building out everything, like building the base of my 20s. And like I am in my mid 20s. Like this is a time where I am setting myself up for my 30s, and that has been so prevalent to me. And that is why I do feel like I am such a critical thinker. Like if you know me in real life, you know I overthink everything. Like I am just like, well, I don't know, like what is this, what is that, like are you sure? Like I ask a million and one questions. I overthink everything. Like, I am just so, I can be so serious. And I am true and true a Scorpio. Like, for 100% without a doubt. Not to bring zodiac signs into it, but baby, one thing about me, I'm very passionate, I'm very deep, I love very hard, I overthink, and I'm just like, so what's really good? Like, and I'm getting a FaceTime call. I'm filming right now. Let me call you back. And I'm super critical of myself, and that is one thing I want to like not be as critical as of myself, because like I'm a princess. Like, I need to be sweet to myself, okay? But I am proud that I am all of those things, because I feel like, yeah, we're getting to, excuse me, we've learned all our lessons in our early 20s. Like, we're getting to that foundational part where, oh my gosh, I have the hiccups. We're getting to that foundational part where we are like getting to the other side, and I'm like, no, baby girl, like, you're gonna be okay, like, you're gonna be good. And I'm so excited to be able to set myself up for my 30s, God willing, and set my future family up for my 30s. And it's just so many great things that I know is going to happen. And I started dreaming big. And I started being like, okay, ask the universe for what you want. So now that I know what I want, I need to continue to write more things down, like write my goals down. Like, I'm looking right here and I'm looking at, okay, I see my big three, I see my to-do list, but write down your goals for your big three and have it plastered everywhere in your whole house. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter who knows. It doesn't, like, at the end of the day, anything that's meant for you, God is not going to block anything just because someone else knows about it. And I am like such a firm believer in that. You can have your own goals and your own wants and your own needs, but you do have to meet your goals halfway. Like, you have to be putting in that work. You have to be thinking about it, putting in that work, waking up, thinking about it, putting in that work, and just so forth and so on. And I mean, it's just gonna show. Like, your work ethic is gonna show. And if there's someone like outworking you, like, go harder. So that is really like my biggest thing to myself. I'm just like, okay, you're gonna go hard this year, and you don't want to say that someone is outworking you, you know. And I've never really had that competitive edge, which is actually really funny. But I did always like having that, I don't know, I liked having that kind of like one unique perspective, or I liked kind of having the knowledge to say that I specifically knew about this. Like, I remember when I was in college, I studied television and film for like the first half before I switched to marketing and communications, which in my opinion, just hello, it aligns, like, we're here together. And when I was doing television and film, we would have to like edit in class, and I would just like sit and like watch my professor just like edit the video. Like, she would put it on the big screen and I would record with my phone, because I'm like, okay, she's probably not gonna do this again, so let me record on my phone. And like, that's how I was like, okay, that's gonna take notes, right? So then we would have an assignment due, and I would just be sitting in class and I'm just like looking back and like rewinding and like doing that and editing it. And then my classmates were like, wait, like, I completely missed that whole thing. Like, Khadijah, how do you edit this, or how do you do that? And I was always just like so naturally good at certain things. Like, I actually, okay, sounds really nerdy, but I was like the camera woman in college. Like, if you knew me, you knew I was the camera woman for like basketball and football games, which is so funny. And I did a lot of the camera work so for a little while I was like, could I be like a cameraman? Like, am I gonna be the person like recording like NFL games and whatever? But first of all, no, because them cameras are heavy as shit. But it's funny because now, like, my love for cameras, I don't really understand cameras to the fullest, but I had spent so much time like using cameras and looking at footage, and it kind of just makes sense, like the world I'm in now. So it's kind of cool to see how that's like playing out and how that's like manifesting, and just like my love for just communication in general. Like I was on a radio show in college with these DJs, and it was just like everything that I did in college makes sense how like what I do now, and I think it's just gonna continue to play out. So it's just such like a beautiful story to see the process. And I remember like I literally had no friends in like college, for real. Like I didn't really get like close to my homegirls until like sophomore, junior year, like more like second semester of sophomore year. And I feel like that's a long time to really not have like true friends in college. So when I tell you, you guys, all I did was work. Like I kept a job, I had money in my pocket, and I was always like filming the games or doing like work study or whatever, because I was just like, okay, like this is the only way. And I really didn't like build those true connections, and I did spend a lot of time by myself and just a lot of time like thinking about like, okay, like who do I want to be? In college, I never really made the connection to truly like dive into my YouTube channel, because I knew I wanted a YouTube channel, but I think I was just too scared of what people would think. Although I had a show with a couple girls that I was friends with in college, and we did it for like a short period of time, and we actually did it in public in front of a bunch of people, and we would interview like students at like the games and this and that, and we had to like edit ourselves. But it's just so crazy because I'm like, why would I have just not done what I truly wanted to do? But I guess I just never thought about like the bigger picture, right? Like outside of the world, like what are you doing like outside in the real world? And so now I'm just glad that I have gotten to that point where I am thinking about the bigger picture. But it definitely takes me like time to like form, and I realize that my personal time is just so special to me. And yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to just really think big and just think about your life as a global perspective. Like if you were writing a storyline for yourself, like what would you write? Like what would you tell yourself to go do? Like what would you say? Like say you were your own PR person, how would you tell yourself to operate? So that's recently how I've been thinking about myself, like truly like, okay, I am a brand, so what do I want to show people? I want to show people about like self-care, and I want to teach people about mental health, and I want to teach people about physical health, and telling them about wellness and their fixing their mindset, and you know, beauty, and all of these like other like things, and just like women supporting women, like just so many things under me, under Khadma. So I think it's cool to be able to just freaking create whatever you want. So I feel like this was a shorter video, but I am so happy that you guys got to sit down with me and have a girls' night. And I hope you guys grabbed a snack, and hope you grabbed a little cocktail, whatever you need to grab. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. Get some self-care in, watch your favorite show. Don't answer no calls, put your phone on D&D. I don't care what you do, but baby, just relax tonight. I love you, mwah. I will see you in the next video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also enter into my giveaway because it will be open for the next 2 weeks. I want you guys to be able to win that Sephora gift card. So I love you so much, and thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.